TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donations. Shalom, Erev Tov, good evening. This is TV7's Israel News, broadcast to you from Jerusalem. U.S. President Donald Trump announces that the Islamist Hamas and Israel have agreed on the first phase of his 21-point outline to end the war in Gaza. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz emphasizes the imperative of implementing all of the 21 points which President Trump's proposed outline specifies. Turkey warns Israel that its actions in Southern Syria are viewed by Ankara as a threat to its national security interests. The first phase of U.S. President Donald Trump's 21-point plan, which focuses solely on Hamas's release of 48 Israeli hostages in exchange for 250 Palestinian terrorists who are serving multiple life sentences, along with 1,700 additional Palestinian terror operatives who were incarcerated post-October 7th of 2023, and an Israeli commitment to cease fire during negotiations with Hamas on the next stages of the American outline. Prior to the announcement, President Trump addressed reporters on the latest vis-a-vis the talks that were then progressing in Egypt's Red Sea resort of Sharm el-Sheikh, during the course of which he announced that he intends to travel to the Middle East as early as Saturday in the event that a deal is struck. Subsequently, during the course of the press conference, Secretary of State Marco Rubio delivered a handwritten note that informed the president of the long-awaited breakthrough in the talks.
I was just given a note by the Secretary of State saying that we're very close to a deal in the Middle East, and they're going to need me pretty quickly.
Subsequently, in an audio interview to Fox News channel's Hannity, President Trump revealed that the hostages are expected to be released on Monday, while further highlighting that the Arab world will rebuild the Gaza Strip.
So Gaza, we believe, is going to be a much safer place, and it's going to be a place that reconstructs, and other countries in the area will help it reconstruct because they have tremendous amounts of wealth, and they want to see that happen. And we'll be involved in helping them make it successful and helping it stay peaceful, but I think it's going to be peaceful. I think, again, the Iran situation was very important, doing what we had to do.
President Trump continued by claiming that even the Islamic Republic of Iran, whose whole ideology is rooted upon the destruction of Israel, the United States, and the West at large, would somehow become part of a broader peace initiative. Meanwhile, in Israel, families of the hostages, as well as ordinary Israeli citizens, voiced joy over the announced deal.
Great excitement, tremendous excitement, even though for now it's only on paper, just signatures, nothing tangible yet. I want to see him, feel him, touch him. Only then will I know it's real, because everything can still change.
Very exciting day. Finally, the time is come. And thank God and thank President Trump, and also thank for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, that we hope these coming days, tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, we'll see our brothers and sisters coming back to Israel after 2 years in the prison of the Nazis in Gaza. And thank God we are coming for good days. I'm happy. I'm very happy. I'm sure all of Israel is very happy today. And let's hope from this day we are going to better days for the next future. Yeah.
We're so happy to hear that the hostages are coming back. This is the joy that we are waiting for this holiday. Thank you Trump. Thank you Netanyahu. Thank you.
In the Gaza Strip, Palestinian residents, both supporters of the Islamist Hamas and its vehement opponents, have also voiced joy over the diplomatic breakthrough.
Thank Allah. Today, President Trump announced that the war stopped. We are very happy that the war stopped. This is something joyful for us, and we thank our brothers and anyone who contributed, even if verbally, to stop the war and to stop the bloodshed. Thank Allah for the ceasefire, the end of bloodshed and killing. I am not the only one happy. All of the Gaza Strip is happy. All the Arab people, all of the world is happy with the ceasefire and the end of bloodshed. Thank you and all the love to those who stood with us.
It is important to stress that while there is hope for the entire outline to be adopted, the current agreement is exclusively focused on the release of hostages in exchange for close to 2,000 terrorists from Israeli prisons and a ceasefire for the duration of negotiations moving forward. Therefore, while world leaders voice joy over prospects for a durable ceasefire, they have all highlighted the imperative necessity to adopt all phases of the 21-point plan.
I'm grateful for the tireless diplomatic efforts of Egypt, Qatar, Turkey, the United States and many others in securing this crucial first step. This agreement must now be implemented in full, without delay, and be accompanied by the immediate lifting of all restrictions on life-saving humanitarian aid to Gaza. The UK will support these crucial immediate steps and the next stages of the talks to ensure the full implementation of the peace plan.
Ja, schönen guten Morgen. Herzlich willkommen zur Pressekonferenz.
Die Entwicklung in Israel macht uns Mut.
Developments in Israel give us cause for optimism. There is obviously a great chance here to reach an agreement with Hamas in the next few hours. There is a chance that the hostages will be released this week and that the Israeli army will then withdraw from the Gaza Strip, as agreed or as proposed in the 20-point plan of the American president and the Israeli government. So hopes, also with regard to Israel and the Gaza Strip, increased once again last night. But it is not really over yet. In this respect, we are of course monitoring the situation very closely and remain confident that, as I said, a solution will be found there this week.
Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, who voiced great pleasure with regard to President Donald Trump's deal for Gaza, announced that Ankara will join a task force that will monitor the implementation of the agreement on the ground.
Bizim de ilk baştan itibaren aktif katkı verdiğimiz anlaşmalar.
We are very pleased with the agreement, to which we have actively contributed from the outset. From now on, the urgent delivery of comprehensive humanitarian aid to Gaza, the exchange of hostages and prisoners, the immediate cessation of Israel's attacks, and ensuring the withdrawal to designated lines are of paramount importance. We will meticulously monitor the strict implementation of the agreed-upon items of the agreement. As Turkey, we will, God willing, be part of the task force that will monitor the implementation of the agreement on the ground.
Türkiye olarak inşallah biz de yer alacağız.
In parallel to President Erdogan's announcement of Turkey's expected entry into the Gaza Strip as part of the international US-led task force, Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan, speaking alongside visiting Syrian Foreign Minister Asad al-Shaybani, warned Israel that its proactive defense of Druze communities in the southern Syrian governorate of Sweda, which has been under siege by the jihadi Damascus regime since after it had perpetrated a heinous massacre, murdering over 2,000 Druze and Christian civilians in July, is regarded by Ankara as a threat to Turkey's own national security interests.
Israel's unilateral operations in Soweto, using our Druze brothers there as a pretext, are causing negative repercussions in the region and further fueling instability. Frankly, this constitutes a national security concern for us.
Milli güvenlik sorunu, bunu da yakından takip ediyoruz.
Minister Fidan, whose country effectively instilled its vassal jihadi leader in Damascus on December 8th of 2024, continued by blaming Israel's forward defense in Syria as the greatest threat to regional stability, irrespective of the fact that Turkey's own military is effectively occupying a Syrian territory 15 times larger than Israel's temporary forward security belt on the Golan Heights. Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News. If you're blessed by our updates, which are exclusively donation-based, please consider supporting TV7 Israel with a donation. You can do so via our website at www.tv7israelnews.com. I would like to encourage you to pray for the hostages as they are, hopefully, God willing, set to be released on Monday after more than 732 days in Hamas captivity. Pray also for the Christians and Druze in Southern Syria as they continue to face a siege and sporadic attacks by the Damascus jihadi regime, and also for the Christian community in Nigeria that is truly facing the full extent of the term massacre, genocide. Pray also for the peace of Jerusalem, of course, and the salvation of Israel. I'm Jonathan Hessen, wishing you a Chag Sukkot Sameach, and God willing, until our next update, Shalom from Jerusalem.